And I think, what's the big deal? It is a big deal. Like if there's another species out there, it is a big deal. But what's the point in waiting? Like I think our evolution, if we had known when this first occurred, when human beings really first came across them, and they had told everybody else, we would not be in this position we're in now.
What do you mean by that?
I just feel like that. I think that people weren't told about this for a long time. That there was another species out in this universe.
Yeah, but who would know about it other than people who experienced it personally? Because even if you are that person, how can you? I mean,
it's not a person; it's an organization. There's plenty of people that can talk to you about the military and what they've been pulling out since 1941. Anyway, so they decided not to tell us, the rest of us.
And you're saying that there's people in the military or in organizations that know about and are familiar with these abduction phenomena? They take it seriously?
Well, it doesn't even matter what the event is, whether it's a contact event or a sighting. In my opinion, like it's the fact that there's another species out there, period. So, that's a big deal.
And there's government and there's military agencies that know for a fact this is true.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything new. Pentagon's talking about it. They're looking at all the old records and the, Blue Book, Project Grudge, Project Sign before that, Roswell, 1941, Missouri.
Do you think that all governments of all countries are keeping it as private and locked away as we are in the U.S.? Or are there other countries that are more open about this?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. Everybody's more open than we are. Every country that I've talked to in the militaries of other countries or, anybody in politics, they're like, it's you guys.
What do they say about the whole phenomenon?
That we're the key to it. That we know
we are the key to it.
We know the most. Our country knows the most out of any country on this planet about it.
Huh.
And interestingly, we're the least. We have the most ridicule and disbelief in this country. Other countries are much more open about it. Yeah.
That's weird.
It is. When I heard it, I was in South Africa on an Air Force base talking to the commander with a lieutenant colonel, and he says, "What are you doing here? The answer's in your country. Why bother? Why are you here?" And he told me quite a few things, and I was just like, whew, my mind just got blown. First of all, he was talking to me about it openly, about this phenomenon being very real, and they see it on radar.
Who was this guy?
He was a commander in the Air Force base.
An Air Force commander.
Yep. He was commander of the whole base.
Oh, wow.
With a lieutenant colonel who was a female.
What sort of things was she saying?
He was saying, and she supported him about what they see on radar.
Okay. Anything with the naked eye or just mainly radar?
They were referring only to radar at that point. But they said that we can tell what these things are. Actually, I got to tell you this because it blew my mind. They're like, when I heard this, I was like, what? They're like, we can tell the difference between the American version, the Russian version, and the real thing.
Really?
And I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
The American version, the Russian version, and the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning there's technology that we have and that they have, and there's technology that someone else controls.
And you can easily tell the difference.
Really?
Mm-hmm. These are military guys, like straight-laced, him and her. I couldn't believe they were so open with me.
Do you think that Tic Tac stuff and that stuff off the East Coast, do you think that's military, or do you think that's...
No.
What do you think it is?
Well, I have no idea.
You don't think it's anything that we have?
No. I don't. We're good. We're the best on the planet, but this is... the guys that witness this, the pilots, a lot of these guys, they're dealing with a lot of our latest stuff. They're some of the best in the world. and they know where the cutting edge is, or at least they have an inside scoop. I would say people.
Yeah.
So not that they know everything that's on the cutting edge or anything, but they would know whether we're even capable of this stuff and why. I mean, that's not what you do when you develop new technologies. You don't show it like that.
Right. And another interesting thing that one Ryan Graves brought up to me the other day when he was in here is the first time Commander Fravor saw the Tic Tac was in, I'm going to fucking forget the date. I want to say it was like 2008, 2009, something like that. Can you find out the date of the Tic Tac thing?
2004.
2004. Okay, so way before that. And then the other ones, like the Go Fast video and the Gimbal video, where you know the years those were like 10 years after.
2015. Right? Yeah.
So if we had that technology, why would we be testing it for that long of a period of time?
And it's the same thing people were reporting in the 40s.
Right, and it's they're testing it in like the busiest airspace in the United States. So if the United States Air Force or the military or any of these crazy dark, government organizations that we have were testing this shit, they wouldn't be testing it there, and they wouldn't be testing it for a 10-year period.
Right. I mean, they do test things for long periods of time for sure, but this has been going on for so long, and it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same type of behavior, the same type of warping physics as we know it in a way, and time. Just bizarre stuff that we're just beginning to like kind of get a grasp on. Like, oh, this is possible. In my, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
I gotta say, for those guys to speak out was a really big deal.
Yeah.
I have to salute those people because, those are more people putting their butts on the line. And why would they do that? There's no upside for them.
Right.
Yeah,
well, it's definitely a safety issue. That was one of the concerns of Ryan Graves because he was, in charge of safety on his ship. And when he almost got fired and he almost went to jail for doing that because he was still active military. I don't think Commander Fravor, he was already retired when he talked about it.
Yeah.
But Ryan Graves was still active. And I remember he said that they brought him to the Pentagon and they sat him down with a bunch of people and they were grilling him for a while in an attempt to, not only get information from him, but intimidate him.
Right.